What an amazing couple of decades it's been for Antony Costa. He's been a member of a popular band, had hit records, toured the world, wasn't a part of that band, was a star on the West End, went into the Australian jungle. Now he's back together with Blue, releasing new music. He's touring the world again. I'm thrilled to say he joins me now. Antony, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you so much. That was a lovely intro. I was like, is that me? What?
Well, do you know what? Sometimes though, it's really funny you say that because sometimes you live it, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. But it takes someone else to tell you what you've been doing to go,
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's actually
Yeah.
quite impressive.
Yeah, for sure. It's spot on, absolutely spot on. Like, I remember getting asked a question, I think it was yesterday or the day before, actually, funnily enough. What's the best thing you've done as a band as Blue? And it was like, oh yeah, we performed at the Queen's Jubilee back in 2002. And it's like, so much has gone on, obviously, in the world and stuff, and what we've done as a band. So yeah, we're still happy, we're still good. It's just nice to be given a second bite of cherry.
How different is it the second time round? Is it as nerve-wracking as the first time?
I think for us, is the fact that when we first started, as you know, we were young lads enjoying ourselves, living the dream, as they say. And I think for us, we was more about just making music and getting out there and touring. And I think now it's more about, right, this is a job now. This is it. Like, how many gigs have we got? What can we do? As much as I enjoy it, which I do, I still think, right, I need to support the fam. I need to put food on the table. I need to pay bills. I need to pay a mortgage, like everybody else in the UK and the world. So for me, it's about just keeping my head above water and still doing what I love doing.
How does the family react?
In terms of what?
Of you, like taking to the stage, releasing
Yeah.
music.
It's my girls now. My eldest is 18, so she's obviously seen me from back in the day.
Yeah.
But my other two girls are 8 and 5, and they're so looking forward to the tour. They're like, Dad, like, what's going to happen? Like, is there going to be people like screaming at you? Because they find it fascinating. Like, their friends at school, come up to them and go, "Oh, I saw your daddy on the TV," or and she's like, it's just amazing. It's just a lovely, lovely thing to see, because I never lived it because none of my family were in the business, so I don't know.
And it's actually really fun to, not that you need to validate yourself to your children, but it is fun to see your children looking at you in a different way, not because you're famous, but because Dad is doing something that he really enjoys. And hold on a sec, all these other people are enjoying my dad.
Yeah, it's so true, Serena. I mean, for me, it's really weird. We've been to a few, like, private screenings of like Disney films and this film and different films, and they've been to the cinema, obviously, and they get free popcorn and drink and sweets and stuff. But when we go as a normal family, like going to see the cinema, my eldest Savannah, she was like, Dad, where's the popcorn? Like, where's the popcorn on the seats? I'm like, no, you don't get that all the time. They're like, but when we went to see Turning Red, we got like free popcorn and free candy, because they call it candy because they watch a lot of
American TV.
Yeah. And it's just funny to hear them say that. They're like, where's the popcorn? Like, so no, your dad's got to buy it this time.
Well, did you have a moment like that where you were in Blue and all these things were happening, and then when the free popcorn stopped, how did that feel for 100%. You?
That's a great question, and I think for me, I'll rewind back sort of when I was 17. When I was 17, I was gigging in pubs and clubs. 16 rather. My dad driving me around in a small van with all of my equipment, and that's how I learnt my trade. That's how I learnt, getting cheered, getting booed, getting bottles thrown at me, getting
oh my
this. Oh god, yeah. I've lived it, but I love the fact that I've lived that, because I can sit here and talk to you and go, I never had it handed to me on a plate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously when the band got together and things happen, blah, 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 and then you start making music and enjoying yourself, you always think it's never going to end. And I think for me, I'm a loyal person. Like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. But when it ended suddenly, like, I mean, it's well documented in the book, like we did. I was the last one to know that the other lads were doing solo projects. So they were all doing solo projects, which is great. You know, good luck to them and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just felt, I just felt hurt,
It's like a
Serena. I
sucker
felt like,
punch.
yeah, and I thought, wow, is this what it's about? So you're going from being in a band where everyone's, you know, answering your phones or wanting
Yeah.
to talk to you to, you know, to the end of the week that everyone's in a meeting or everyone's, you know, doing this and not answering your calls. And you know what? It's a bitter pill to swallow because you think, wow, I've put my heart and soul literally um, into this project for 4 years at that time from '01 to '05. And is this what the business is like? And again, I think out of all the boys, and they will tell you, I learned the hardest way. And it's only the fact that I'm a Celeb came in the end of that year. So we sort of called it a day in July. So the November of that year, I got the call, and obviously I was nervous. I was like, oh no, people are not going to like me. They're going to hate me. I was in a boy band and blah blah blah, and everyone's going to hate me. I went in there as you know, was myself that you know, a Northwest London boy that worked hard. And then from that, as you said in the intro, I went on to the West End stage in Blood Brothers, and it went on from there. So I found my path, but
Yeah.
that's fine because you know, if you was talking to me and I'm talking to you like quite frankly, acting's my passion. So you give me something. I love being someone else for 2 hours, either on stage or on a screen. So that's you know deep down that's my passion. This is a great job to do and I'm loving it, don't get me wrong, but the acting world is definitely where I want to be in the future for sure.
And you know, if you'd said that to Antony in July of that year when
Yeah,
everything went to pieces, you probably would have thought, no, this is what I want to do. So like there's a lot of people going through what you went through then
yeah,
right now in the
yeah,
world
for
where, you
sure.
know, they're either leaving jobs or they've been fired. And it's that in-between time where they're not sure what the next is. How did you handle that time
Oh,
from July to November? What got you
it was
through?
yeah, it was a fact of like I started to run into money troubles. I I had a you know a house in Hertfordshire in the middle, you know, the big countryside, and I couldn't afford it. So it was a case of you know the house got taken off me, and then it just the whole family sort of split. I think at the time, mum and dad moved back to Cyprus just to get away from it and stay with my nan. My sister and brother, my brother went to America. My sister was with a partner at the time, so I was literally on my own.
There was
So
so
all
much
this,
change.
yeah. And I ended up because I where I was working in town in London, I couldn't afford to get back home to Hertfordshire. So I used to literally stay awake all night. So I'd finish the show at 10:30. I'd stay awake all night with a couple of the cast members, wait until that stage doors open, and then go up and sleep in my dressing room.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're going from
Yeah.
hero to zero, whatever you want to call it. And then again, you know, my oldest friend, you know, again, it's well documented. He helped me. He lived near town, so he used to leave his key where you know the plant pot or wherever it is. And I used to literally, you know, do the show. And if I needed a good night's kit,
Yeah.
I'd go into his house and sleep on his couch. So
It's
yeah,
all
I've lived it. It's all good.
you really have. And you mentioned the jungle there. So I have to
Yes.
mention we're all
No.
hooked on the jungle
Yeah.
right now. Do
Yeah.
you watch it? Can you
I
watch it
do.
back now that you've been a part of it? And how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like I wish I was there because it. Do you know
Really?
what?
Would you do it
Yeah,
again?
I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I would. I loved it, Serena. I loved it. I was in a camp with 11 other people, or I knew a couple of them from previous, but
Yeah.
11 people, so to speak, that you'd never put in a you know at a dinner or you know on a night out. Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, like I learned so much about myself. I learned about just how to handle yourself because you're forgetting 3 4 years previous I was in a band with three of my
Yeah.
mates. So
Yeah.
if I'm struggling I can look to my right and I've got one of them. If I can look to my left I've got one of them. So when you're on your own it's like a big old task, but something that I'll always hold close to my heart because I loved it.
See, and you're talking to an Australian here who grew up with creepy crawlies and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, but I just couldn't. I look at them like the trial for me would be just everyday living in that jungle, the toilet, the spiders, like
yeah, it's boredom. It's boredom. That's the
oh,
thing. It's boredom that
really?
kills you. Yeah, it's boredom. If you're constantly doing stuff, even if you do a trial and you do well or not, at
Yeah,
least you've done something. Whereas,
yeah.
you know, how many times can you sit on a log and talk about the weather? And the thing is, you start sort of hallucinating about food. Like,
Are you really that hungry?
oh my god! And even when Ant and Dec walk in, they smell fresh. They smell like you know, comfort, you know, the detergent, and you're like, oh mate, and you sort of like sniff as they walk past you and stuff like that. So yeah, I remember that smell very vividly. But hey, it was an experience, and I'm so pleased I did it.
Who do you think will win this year, or who do you want to win this year?
I'd like oh, there's so many different characters, isn't there? I I I think Matt will get to the final three. I
Do
don't
you
know if he'll win it.
think?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my gut feeling. Um, I want Babatunde to do well because he just makes me laugh. He's
He's
a good guy.
brilliant. He
He's
is
just
brilliant.
he's so bad at tasks. It's hilarious.
Those Chris
Um,
Moyles, the two of them are terrible.
so bad. And do you know what? Do you know what as well? Right? I look. Obviously, Chris Moyles is a fantastic DJ and really funny
Yeah.
what he does. I bet over the years he's gone, oh, you know, on his station, he probably would have
Yeah.
gone, I could have done that. I would have done, oh, what are they like? But when you're there, it's a completely different ballgame. So it's
Completely.
nice to see these people that have watched it for so many years
Yeah.
thinking they could do that and then obviously struggling in a weird, nice way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally understand. There's no malicious intended,
No, not at all.
but it is quite fun watching all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about fun, you had a lot of fun moments during Blue. I need to ask about the moment that a lot of people have spoken about, your Donatella Versace moment.
I knew this was coming.
I'm so sorry. I had to.
No, I love it. I love the story. Everyone thinks it's not real. It's absolutely true to 100%. Oh, where do I start? So we released All Rise in the May of 01.
Yeah.
September of 2001, we get a phone call. Management gets a phone call. Donatella Versace wants to invite you boys to her Milan Fashion Week. So you can go to Bond Street, pick out what you want, you know, and we'll fly you over. Yeah, it's great. We'll fly you over, private jet, all the X's. So we've obviously gone to Bond Street, we've got our clothes and picked our clothes up, gets on a plane, go to Milan. I mean, I'm not really a fashion, you know, week person, do you know what I mean? But I'm there as respect and I'm applauding all the models and the male models, and you're like, brilliant. They said, anyway, we get a tap on our shoulder, Miss Versace wants to meet you. So if you can imagine like all the sort of celebs and the people that are in a line as if you're meeting the Queen, you know, when like the Royal Right Show and you meet the Queen, you bow. So we were in a line and she's walking down, she's coming towards us, and she sort of looked at us up and down as if to say, like, who the hell are you? And I'm standing next to Webby, Si, and I sort of nudged him and I whispered in his ear going, I thought we're supposed to be like special guests. And he went, bro, leave her. She's probably like stressed. I was like, all right, fair enough. Anyway, it turns out we got back to London and she invited Blur, not Blue.
That's one of my favourite stories. And you guys had a ball.
And you know what? She's got such great banter. She she Instagrammed a picture of her and Damon Albarn. And she said, see, I think I've still got it because I love the fact that she took it as good banter. Because I didn't know the woman. Where is it?
She said something like, and I still haven't met Blur or something, didn't she?
Yeah, I still haven't met Blur. Oh, she's gone now. It's gone. It's bloody deleted.
It's brilliant.
So she's got a picture of her and Damon and said, finally, after 20 years, I've met Blur. And Alex James from Blur, we see him at a party many years later.
Yeah.
And he said, you bleep, you know, having a bit of a laugh. And he went, you took our invite. And we went, we didn't know. We was one letter out, mate. What do you want? What
And
do you want?
that was brilliant. Like, what a brilliant moment. But listen, we've been talking about the brilliant moments, we've been talking about the lows. I want to get back to the highs. I want to get back
Yeah,
to that
go.
moment when you guys got back together and went, let's do this. Do you remember? How did that happen? What was the call like?
Yeah, I mean, the mad thing is, Serena, we've never split up as such. So
Yeah.
05, we took a break, got back together in 11 to represent the UK in Eurovision, and I think that was the starting point because I was very wary. I was like, love the boys to bits, but I was like,
Yeah.
no, nah, do I really want to go through this again? Do I want the false promises from different people and everything? But then I thought, you know what? You live once. You got a chance to represent your country in a music contest. Let's just do it. So we did that. But from that, we were able to do tours and etc. etc. It's not only until 2020 in the January where we sort of sat down seriously, like, we've always gigged and stuff abroad
Yeah.
and the UK. We've always, but I think that was the turning point. We went to the studio, we did a songwriting camp in the January, and I co-wrote the first single, Haven't Found You Yet. And obviously I'm nervous about playing it to the boys. I'm like, boys, I've done this tune. What do you think? Boys loved it. And I was like, phew. And I think that was a catalyst for them to go, right, sod this, let's do an album. And obviously the pandemic hit. So we were like,
Yeah.
what do we do? And it was the first album, weirdly enough, that we was not in the studio all together at the same time. So you're sort of going in, I hate that, you're going in blind, so to speak.
Yeah.
You've got to follow someone's harmony, you've got to follow someone's lead, you've got to make sure your blend's right. So it was a tough process, but an enjoyable and strangely weird one at the same time. And I think that was the thing of, right, it's been 21 years. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a comeback tour and see what happens. If people want it, great. If they don't, then we dust ourselves down and move on.
Well, people want it and they want your music, not just the old stuff. That's why I got really excited because, I heard Heart and Soul. I don't know. Do I really want it? Do I just want the old stuff? And I listened to it. I went, no, I want it. I want the new stuff. I absolutely love it. Had me dancing away. How's it feeling for you releasing that new stuff and getting to tour it?
Yeah, it's great, honestly, because obviously you got the classics, All Rises of This World and One Loves and Flybys, which is still great to this day to be able to perform that. And thank you to the people that supported us over the years. But it's nice to do something different now where this is Blue 2022. It's Blue 22 with a 2001 flavour.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's worked. In that sort of 8-9 years, we have released 2 more albums. They didn't do as well because we tried to be different. We tried to follow suit. And I think people, and rightly so, people want the classic Blue sound. And I think we've found you yet. It's got that big chorus. It's got that anthemic chorus. People can listen to it. The heart and soul, you can bop to it. You can sing along to it. And that's what Blue was about. You could bop to our music.
Yeah.
Lyrically, is it amazing? Probably not. But it's all about the tune. And I think you listen to the tune and then you listen to the lyrics, or you read the lyrics after.
Isn't it all about how it makes us feel? And Blue doesn't make me feel blue.
Good. Well, that's good then, isn't it? That's the ironic thing, isn't it?
Exactly. It puts a smile on my face, but I do have one bone to pick with you before I let you go. You're on your UK tour. I've seen that you're going to Singapore in 2023. Yeah, we're much closer than Singapore.
I know. Ireland was in our September tour, but because the record company wanted to push back the album to October, there was no time for Ireland because Ireland's such a lovely country. You've got too many good artists. So the arenas aren't available until next year.
Okay, well, hopefully next year, because is Bewitched supporting you on this tour?
Bewitched, C'est La Vie, blame it on the weatherman. They'll be double denimed up, so it'll be good fun. And the thing about them girls is we toured with them in Australia about 2.5 years back, and we had such a good time. And it was a no-brainer. We was looking at special guests, and we said, just ask Bewitched girls if they want to do it. Great, and they did say yeah.
Well, it's a no-brainer that your record company needs to find you a venue sometime next year because I can see you guys at Bewitched opening, you guys performing, maybe doing something together. That will blow the roof off.
No, I love Dublin, Northern Ireland as well. The Point in Dublin we've done a few times over the years, and I think the last time we were there was with Wet Wet Wet. So Yeah, you're going back nearly 9 years now.
Wow, yeah, 9 years too long. Anthony,
Thank you.
it's so great to have you guys back. And you know what? It's so good to see you smiling and just enjoying everything. Enjoy
I'm
it all.
loving life, mate.
Good.
And yeah, because you just don't know when it's going to end, do you?